Okay, so my throat feels really tight and I'm gonna try my best not to cry during this video, but um I know a lot of you are probably freaking out because my DeviantArt probably says banned deviant. And yes, I've been indefinitely banned again for something that was not my fault, and here I will explain. Fuck. You know what? Hang on. I need to take a break so that I can release all this shit. I'll be back in a second. Okay. I just want to say something that is related. The strongest thing you can ever do when you're angry and frustrated is cry. Because you feel better, and you're admitting to yourself that you're frustrated and that you're angry. And society has made us believe that crying makes us weak. And that is not true. When you cry, your body is releasing the heavy burden of extreme sadness and/or anger, frustration, all those negative emotions that we don't like to feel, and you have to admit after a good cry you feel a hell of a lot better. That was English somewhere in there. So, okay. I just want to explain everything that's happening. Again, trying to get the idea, I cannot speak. Reitanna cannot speak. Reitanna is bad at speaking. Reitanna, bad speaker. Good typer, good writer, bad speaker. I was just trying to get justice for the abysmal and ludicrous reasoning behind this whole Osumatsu-san, the sextuplets are somehow children. And I wrote what I would have said to any, legal representative, albeit I did not proofread and therefore have typos because Reitanna is imperfect, just like the rest of you. And I explained what the show's about and how the characters couldn't possibly be considered minors. It was assigned to Reality Squared. And after that whole thing, Dampfear comes back and spews the bullshit that Dampfear spews. And he claims that I simply don't agree with or like the policy. The problem is that this does not, in any way, shape, or form, violate the policy. It has nothing to do with agreeing with it or liking it. Fuck, I'm the one who has been trying to enforce the policy on Dampfear whenever he doesn't follow it. And that's why I'm so frustrated with that specific admin. I mean, Reality Squared is bad, but not as bad as Dampfear. So, there is no harm behind posting screenshots. There is no harm. It is the equivalent, and I have said this, to the word. Going on strike. Going on strike against the company that you work for because they are mistreating you. That is what the equivalent of this is. A non-violent, non-physical, verbal protest that causes absolutely no harm and is meant in the end to bring about peace to the ones affected. I feel like I should read my entire description. So, yeah, you know what? Yeah. You guys ready for a long-ass video, huh? You guys ready for this? For those of you who like to hear me speak, for those of you who like to hear me vent, for God knows why, I don't know. Here we go. It's one of those videos. So, here is my description underneath the deviation, a justifiable argument ignored. Well, again, meaning again, a justifiable argument is ignored. Before I start my useless tangent, and note that I am not editing out this audio because I don't fucking feel like it. So, before I start my useless tangent about how angry I am, I need to say a few things about this ticket. For one, I did not proofread it, so there are many typos. I'm imperfect. Sorry. For two, I blacked out certain information for my personal security. For three, and this is for the sheep, I voiced my theory about being specifically targeted, not because I think I'm important, because God himself knows I'm not, but because my fans and friends have said that's what it seems like, and at this point, it's the only thing that makes sense, especially after some things Dampier said to me while I tried to appeal my suspension. Yeah, there are so many deviants, and it's unlikely they'd focus their attention on a single one and go out of their way to pick on them. But my mind says that's what's happening because my mind is under the assumption that everyone is out to get me. It doesn't know any better, not with my experiences, so whereas I can say that's not logical, I am forced to believe such a thing because of my anxiety, and it doesn't help when they do and say things that just adds evidence that they are doing that. It's confusing and frustrating, and if you don't know how it feels, then you don't know how it feels. I can't force anyone to understand what it's like to experience these conflicting thoughts. Only those who also experience them can understand. Next, here's some more diatribe for the sheep. Since someone literally said to me, no normal person would go through this much trouble if they didn't want attention, I have come to the realization that anything a sheep accuses me of is just them describing themselves. The fact that somebody stated that normal people would do this to get attention just proves your warped perception of people who are not you. You consider yourself a normal person, and you say that people don't do this unless they want attention? Here's the translation of that. If it were me, I'd do it for attention. Therefore, everyone is doing it for attention. Sorry to burst your overly inflated ego bubble, but no, normal people do not attempt to gain attention in the way you sheep describe it. You see, there is something called fight or flight response. There is also a such thing as wanting something to be done about something that is wrong. You see, when I do something good, I feel good. When I do something bad, I feel bad. Shouldn't that apply to everyone? Apparently not, since sheep want the attention they accuse innocent people of wanting, when all we want is something to be done, not for personal gain, but for everyone's benefit. You have to be pretty shallow to think there's no such thing as someone standing up for what is right. Wanting attention, quote-unquote, is a fickle phrase because it can mean multiple things. It's just a fad for sheep to accuse anyone and everyone with more personality than a shovel for crying out for it, as if they need it. I can assure you, if I wanted to get negative attention, I wouldn't do it like this. I wouldn't disguise the attempt as standing up for what I think is right. When I say something or do something, I can 100% guarantee that there's no secret intent behind it, and what I say is exactly what it is. For example, if I wanted the type of attention you sheep are so fond of, I'd just do what you guys do. Or something more drastic, like making a video saying horrible things that would get me the hate I'd apparently be craving, according to you. Oh, but I want pity and sympathy. Wow! I want pity and sympathy, right? That's why I'm doing this? Pity and sympathy for what, exactly? Who would seriously do this just to receive that should have been an, aw, I feel so sorry for you, boo-hoo! That's not normal. And I sense, yes, I'm trying to get attention, but let's use the phrase in a positive context, shall we? The attention I want is from fellow deviants who have either experienced this same bullshit or have no idea that it happens. In order to try and change something, we must first be made aware that it's happening, and once people know about it, they're able to think, well, hang on, that doesn't seem right. This causes them to tell others about it, and if we're lucky, something might get done about it. Of course, I'm a firm believer that dreams don't come true, and all effort is wasted because humanity is an intrusive, dishonest species that wants nothing but to see our kind suffer in various ways. I love my typos. I don't proofread these things. I have to repeat that. But does this mean we shouldn't try? All my life I've done nothing but fight life itself. Fight through the loss of innocence, fight through abuse and neglect, mental illness, near-death situations, and so on. I continue to fight every single day from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. Why? Because I'm not a fucking coward. Why should I be? If we all die, then I'm going to die, and that'll be the end. That's just how it is. So why the fuck would I want to live the rest of my life just hiding? If I didn't fight, I wouldn't even be here. I would have died so many times already, but obviously I haven't. If normal people are dishonest, if normal people are cowards, if normal people enjoy being coddled, I don't want to be a normal person. I stand up for what is right because hardly anyone else does, and if nothing comes of it, at least I can die knowing I tried, that I worked for an attempt to change an injustice. I will not die a coward. Ever. Fuck, if someone pointed a gun at me and there was literally no probability that I could escape, I'd just say, don't miss. And my only regret? I didn't get the opportunity to write a legalized will. I know that's an extreme example, but I'm serious, and these sheep seem to think that when I say something, I mean something different, and I don't understand the logic. Why would someone say something and mean something else? God damn, it's like the people who get all offended if I call them sweetie or hun. Oh yes, a nice name is an insult. If that's this generation's logic, should I just call everyone a fag? Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. There's no way people would be offended by that. What do I want? I want to bring light to something very dishonest that is happening in our community. I've had to deal with DA's shit for years, and even though I attempted to fight in those situations, eventually I just put up my hands and say, whatever, I'll just do what I do best and hold a grudge. But at least those things had a tiny bit of reason. This is complete nonsense. This is figuratively leaving a giant deuce on my front doorstep. That moment when you want to say literally even though you mean figuratively. This makes so little sense, it's below zero. I'm almost to the point where I want to find the building the CEO works at and request an audience from him, no matter how long I'd have to wait, no matter how far I'd have to travel. Fuck, I'd even bring along screenshots, video, or pages of research that would support my case. I don't have PowerPoint, so yeah. I don't want to speak with people who refuse to read the issues, who refuse to think about what's right instead of focusing on bias or just being lazy. I want to speak with the top guy. Will it happen? Pfft, hope is for fools. Yeah, he's got a DA, but I know from experience that he does not respond to issues. Hell, he probably doesn't even manage it himself. I want a face-to-face meeting. I want him to sit the fuck down, pay attention, and listen to the issue. I want logic. It says was. I want someone to tell me how this makes any sense, and I want justice. I'm getting sick of this shit, and I know Damfier's just gonna ignore my plead for said logic, and he might even fucking ban me from the help desk. More like the this is just an illusion to make you think we're willing to help desk. I'm getting dizzy as I read this. But I'm at the point where I'm going to dig. Okay, so I did mean to say dig. I'm going to find a way to get in contact with someone who will fucking listen to reason. I'm a middle-class disabled American. I can't afford a lawyer, but god damn it, I have to try to do something. This is when I need to ask for help. And I don't mean go spam the help. Oh, this is the important part. Listen! And I don't mean go spam the help desk or the admin's pages and try and quote-unquote stick up for me. You know, like a group of people did to that one person who was harassing me. Remember, the person I was trying to reason with? You know, and you told them that I fucking sent you? No, I am saying this right here, right now. if these admins get spam or harassment from deviants about this issue, I am not responsible for those actions. You know goddamn well I didn't send you to anyone to do anything. I'm still pissed about that. Why would you lie? Especially about something I said. The person knows how to contact me. They'd ask, did you say this? And I'd say no. What the fuck is your problem? Do you think it's funny to lie? Do you think it's funny to make people believe I think I'm your leader and I deploy you as my troops to fight my battles because reasons? I didn't write that, but I'm so frustrated that people think that, because you know that's not the case. And you made things much worse for me by doing that. If it happens again, I want everyone to know that I never sent anyone to do anything. I am not your leader! I am my leader. I am my follower. Many of you have formed friendships with me, and others are just acquaintances. But that doesn't change the fact that I do not consider my friends as my followers. Unless you use the term to literally mean they follow my activity on DA and YouTube, no. If I wanted to start a cult, I would. I am not responsible for anyone's actions but my own. And I'll tell you now, if you harass these admins for my sake, you will make everything worse. Much worse. Think before you act. And I'm going to cut in here saying, that is exactly what has happened! And you see the consequences? Do you see? Do you see that you are not the ones to be punished for your actions? Do you see that the world itself works the wrong way? That because of your actions, I am being punished. But I will get more in depth into how I look at my actions. So don't just leave a fucking comment going meh like a fucking sheep. You gotta listen to everything I say before you accuse me of fucking doing anything. So, let's continue. No, the help I need is simply information. Email addresses, mailing addresses, any contact information of the higher-ups that's not through DA. It's time to cut out the middleman and try to get direct with the people or person who actually matters. And I have to write another disclosure. This is also key. This time for DA staff. Listen to this. This is a civil and peaceful act of protest. I have not, nor will I make threats, act violently, speak violently, attempt to do something illegal, or whatever craziness you people might assume of me. Like I mentioned, I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I will now say that my intentions are confrontational, not violent. I want to attempt to contact someone with more authority than the sad excuse for admins that have treated me and so many other deviants like complete dirt. I want to try and make headway, and when I say, quote-unquote, fight, you know very well I don't mean physically. Also, as I also said before, redundancy, screen capping my tickets is not threatening, disruptive, or violent in any way. It is the equivalent of standing outside of a building and holding picket signs while chanting about wanting change. I am within my right to do so. It does not violate any terms or conditions of this site because I have read them over and over again, and does no harm to any person or persons. My watchers may wonder why I have to say all of this. Again, Damphir said some things to me that were personal attacks, things he probably shouldn't have said. If I can get in contact with someone who will actually help me, I will definitely be providing him or her with that information. Hopes? Not high. Possibility of me succeeding? Moderate. Probability? Very low. Knowing this, will I still try? You bet your ass I will. If normal people won't stand up and fight for what's right, if they won't put in the effort or energy to try, then it's up to us who, quote-unquote, crave attention and want pity and sympathy to do it instead. And if I'm the only one who tries, then fine. At least I tried. To you sheep, you know I'm not trying to act like a damsel in distress who says, boo-hoo, feel sorry for me. The only reason you accuse me of such things is because you want to stir the pot and see how people react. It's funny to you. You don't just want my negative reaction. You want people to stand up for me and support me, to fight with you just so you can attack them and try to make an excuse that their actions, which I do not control, proves that I believe I am so super duper special and that I deserve the fucking moon served on a silver platter because, yes, I'm going to eat the moon. I'd disable comments here to keep idiots like you from disrupting what's important, but you know what? Not this time. And here's where I had a crazy revelation in the rest of this and this next paragraph, and it made me feel so much better. Not this time. I want my quote-unquote supporters to give me their thoughts and opinions in a civil, non-threatening way. There's a nice Reitanna typo there. They know I don't want or need sympathy because they know I'm not weak. You sheep can say whatever the fuck you want, but I am not going to feed you. Unlike previous times when I've tried to reason with you people, I will not respond, and I won't give anyone a chance to make the mistake of standing up for me. You will remain ignored. I will block you. I will report your comment as spam because you mean nothing to me. We are not equals. You are not people to me. You are fat, ugly, smelly, stupid trolls that could never have the balls to say shit to me face to face because you know that you're cowards. Yeah, I'm a human being. I have feelings that get hurt. I have illnesses that cause these feelings to get hurt a lot more than they should. And I get so determined to prove you wrong, I stress myself into panic attacks. You see this as a weakness, yeah? Well, so do I. I hate it. I wish I were like Michael and be able to shrug it off and not care. But we need to admit where we are weak, and we need to overpower our weaknesses with our strengths. If me being human makes me an easy target, then what does that say about you? You who think crying is a sign of weakness, you who think expressing opinions is just trying to get attention, you who can't accept anyone who is different than yourself. You are weak because you don't cry. You are weak because you can't stand up for yourself. You are weak because you can't face your insecurities. And I don't care if you accuse me of being something I'm not, because it doesn't matter what I am. I'd rather be that than whatever you are. And fuck it, I'm going to express pride when I've done something well. I'm going to admit I'm pretty when my scabs heal and I finally do my makeup. Because these things don't make me vain. They make me human. My insecurities about my image and my work need to be dealt with for my health. And you people are going to ruin that over my dead body. Do yourself a favor. Put on some clothes. No, not the clothes you wear to keep people from making fun of you. Wear the clothes you've always wanted to wear. Do your hair how you want. Wear your makeup how you want. Even if you're a straight male, do what you want and stop caring about the assholes that are just like you. And if your feelings get hurt by said assholes, go somewhere private and cry. Stop being afraid just because society thinks crying makes you weak. If you're a guy, it doesn't make you less of a man to cry. Crying is relieving your body of a heavy emotional burden that causes physical damage. I don't blame you if you don't want to cry in front of people, but you need to do it. You will be amazed at how much better you will feel, how much happier you'll be. Got family problems? Bullying problems? Problems with yourself? Talk about them. It doesn't make you emo if you feel pain. It doesn't make you emo for you to express your troubles and vent. Just talk about it. Admit your problems instead of pretending they don't exist, because they are always there no matter what. You wonder why I speak freely about being mentally ill, because it's a problem that will never go away, and I'm not going to be secretive about it just because you're too weak to do the same. I'm honest about my past. When people ask me how I'm doing, I don't just say fine if I'm not fine. I tell them I'm not fine. You're under the impression that this means I'm trying to garner pity, and that's why you are weak. You won't be open about yourself because you are a coward. I need to accept my problems. And so do you. Fuck, if I'm capable of facing my insecurities, then there's no excuse for you to not be able to as well. Admit your faults. Face your problems. Stop worrying about what people will say. I have huge teeth. I know it. I don't like it, but I do. My nose is also crooked, and my eyes are too far apart. Those two things don't bother me at all, but I know they still exist. Are you short? Do you have a lazy eye? Were you born with a smaller hand than average? Are your teeth crooked? Are you hunchbacked? Accept it! Hell, I make fun of my own teeth, and it makes me feel strong because I know no one can say anything worse than what I've already said. Our society is based on appearance and cookie-cutter behavior, keeping our mouths shut and our noses down. I know the sheep of this world are unhappy. I know it because they feel the need to make others unhappy. I know it because they're too cowardly to do what they want and not care about what other people say or think. Just live your fucking life. Live each day as if it were your last. You are going to die. For all you know... I lost my place. For all you know, you could die tomorrow, and you wouldn't see it coming. Do what you want to die. Wait. Do you want to die a miserable coward with nothing to your name except how much of an asshole you were? Do you want to die knowing you ran from yourself just because you were scared to step in front of a mirror and say, "This is who I am"? Do you want to die knowing you've done nothing positive to other people, but instead treating them how you treat yourself? I sure don't. It's better to die on your feet than live on your knees. And that's how I'm going to die. I'm not afraid of you, and I'm not afraid to be a human being. As disgusted with our species as I am, I will show people I'm just a regular person like them, and I will do everything in my power to make sure I go down knowing I fought. I might die tomorrow, next week, in a year, in 40 years, it doesn't matter. I am going to die, and I'm okay with that, just as long as I can kick life in the balls before I go. I was brought into this world by a drugged-up whore, beaten and abused, kicking and screaming as I tried to struggle with my own head, physical and emotional turmoil even to this day. Life has treated me like shit, and it's going to get kicked in the balls before death takes me away from it. Kicked in the balls and a stellar middle finger. So what are you going to do? And then I go to say, to my watchers, my fans and friends, do not learn from me, let's learn from each other. We stand together, and like a pile of red ants floating in water, we cannot be broken apart. Do not follow me, lead yourselves. Do not look at me as if I'm somehow better than you, just because I'm slightly recognizable on the internet, because I am no better than you. I never was, and never will be. I am human, you are human. We all want change in our lives, in our world, and even on something as trivial as a corrupt art website that has a monarchy over any others of its kind. I'm pretty sure I meant to say monopoly. Anyway, we may have little power, but we need to try. I remember a time when DA was so great, and I'm sure many of you do too. I want to go back to that time. So, let's all eat our member berries and try to make DA great again. And if you don't get that reference, don't worry about it. Let's just all try. And all that shit I said to the sheep, I needed that. And I felt so much better after I said it. I felt so much better. Remember when DA was great? Yeah, I remember. And, okay, so I told people not to harass the admins. And yet, it seems that's exactly what they did, because, and here comes the next long part. Let us read to you my ticket. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's not the ticket I wanted to look at. I'm gonna tell you right now that yes, it starts out snarky and accusatory and all that shit. The way that I wish to speak to these people. But, listen, I haven't been able to have my evening Effexor and my lamotrigine. I've only had my bupropion. And my emotions are kind of out of whack. And throughout this ticket, I did make a realization. And this is when you people really have to listen to everything I say before trying to make any judgment upon my actions. So, the ticket is called Seriously, What? And I quoted, "You have been indefinitely banned from DeviantArt with a reason of continued use of screenshots to harass staff members on site despite specific warnings laid out in your suspension appeal." That should be laying out, I think. Yeah, laying out in your suspension appeal. "Continually causing community drama and disruption despite many warnings." Now, I believe that I should actually open up said appeal. Sorry for the long silences and the stutters, because I'm not editing this, and fuck that. Okay, so going through my attempt to reason with you people, with logic and facts. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. Okay. So, I had to send them an email because I couldn't put in a ticket for this when I was suspended. And for some reason, Anatier, while infidently, sorry, I'm having troubles. Banned, and me banned, I can open tickets, so whatever, logic. So, somebody called Anjuli was, assigned this ticket, and I've never heard of you, and God, I wish you would answer tickets more often, because what the fuck? So, but she claims that I can log into both of my accounts and submit tickets from the help desk, even when they are suspended or banned, and we have seen all of your replies and responded accordingly. That is not true, because I could not sign in when suspended. Do I have to go to Anatier's to try and find it? Okay. You know, I'm pausing this. Hang on. Alright, so apparently Ask Anatier is still banned, and here's what Dampfear says. So I said, after I was unsuspended, "Alright, since my suspension is done, can you please lift the ban on this account?" And Dampfear says, "We will not be able to return this account to active status at this time. As explained in your previous ticket, if you are able to conduct yourself as a helpful, positive, and non-combative member of the DeviantArt community for 6 months after your main account is returned to active status again, you may contact us again regarding Ask Anatier, and we will consider appealing the ban." It was never explained to me. That was never explained to me. So, I'm going back to my original, which I believe I read was even though your FAQ says you should not create a login and blah blah blah. So, it was ignored for many days until Dampfear came along and said, As you have no doubt discovered, since you filed an additional ticket after your alternate account was closed, you are still able to log in to banned and suspended accounts, which will allow you to access the help desk and file a ticket. No, I did not file a ticket through Reitanna Seishin. Somebody gave me the email address. Additionally, you can contact the help desk via email, and he gives me the email addresses that were not readily available. Regardless, no administrative action would have been taken against your alternate account had you only used it to file a help desk ticket. We understand this can be confusing and would have been happy to discuss the situation with you from the ticket. However, you did not simply use this account to file a help desk ticket. You proceeded to use this account to interact with the DeviantArt community through comments, journals, and notes, evading the administrative restrictions which had been placed on you. You are clearly aware that doing so is against DeviantArt policy, as you have quoted the FAQ about using alternate accounts multiple times now. Your alternate account has been closed due to the fact that you actively and deliberately used this account to circumvent the suspension placed on your main account and interact with the community, not because you used it to contact the help desk. I hope this clarifies the reason for administrative action against this account. No, it does not, because all I did was, for one, try to make amends with somebody just trying to make amends with somebody I was trying to reason with in the first place, the same person who these other people attacked and told me I sent them. And the other one was just simply to alert people that my account was suspended, because you guys go freaking crazy if my account does anything weird. You guys act like I killed myself. So how else was I supposed to get in contact with the people who don't watch me on YouTube? If you guys would just fucking calm the fuck down. But, I mean, seriously, all I did was tell people that I was suspended. That doesn't really count as interacting with the DeviantArt community, because I'm not saying, hey guys, how's it going? You know, I'm doing stuff on this account now. So, continuing on, Damfear continues to say, I can see that DeviantArt policy regarding underage characters in sexual disputations has been explained to you multiple times. Notes were issued further explaining policy when staff was required to remove 7 and 10 of your fan fiction. These notes provided with you information regarding our policies. They provided me links with the policies. However, multiple members of staff had already explained these policies to you. After these removals, you continued submitting graphic literature detailing sexual acts and erotic settings involving underage characters. I was under the impression that literature was protected under the... oh my gosh, we live in the digital age. The virtual freedom of expression laws. Because it is not obscene, and I have researched many of these child pornography laws that we have to get a clear idea of what is legal and what is not. And the fact of the matter is that I lost my virginity at 14, so teenagers experimenting sexually is normal and frankly accepted at this point. I mean, don't fucking get pregnant, you stupid idiots, but seriously. And the fact of the matter is it's not a matter of sexualizing them as minors, because to me, I do not see them as minors. I see them as people who are growing up and are attracted and or in love with each other, which I believe is sweet. And yeah, I like the eroticness of yaoi. These are fictional characters. It doesn't mean that I'm somehow attracted to children. That's weird. That's very strange. But it's just mentally, of course they're legally, technically, they're underage. They're considered children in America. And in some other countries, I know there are countries where the age of consent is like way down there, like 14, like, when I was getting, I didn't have good parents, you guys, you know I don't. So, but the thing is no, they did not. They took the chapters down, but they did not say, if you continue to submit chapters of this story, you will be suspended. I got one warning that I would be suspended if I posted my Otsumatsu-san fan art a third time. So I didn't. Let's continue. Each of these notes served as a warning regarding DeviantArt policy, and your continued and willful submission of materials which violate policy required DeviantArt staff to suspend your account from the DeviantArt community. You clearly knew that these submissions violated policy, as your description stated that the submissions would probably be removed. Okay? That's kind of obvious there. I said they would probably be removed because I feel like I'm being fucking attacked for every single thing I do. Fuck! These characters are at least 25 years old, and you remove them. I had a page of playing with fire, with Dib and Zim, both in pants, not touching each other, and all Dib had to say was the word sex, and that got taken down. What am I supposed to think? Of course I said they'd probably be removed, because I am somehow... I feel like, I'm going to be honest, I feel like I'm a target. As unrealistic as that sounds, I feel like I am being harassed by specifically this person. So, due to the amount of communication staff has had with you regarding these exact topics, you mean literally no communication, except for a few automated messages that told me that my deviations were taken down. Your own commentary regarding how they would be removed as a violation of policy, I never said that. I never said that I thought they violated the policy. And your behavior, attempting to be combative rather than reading the information provided to you, I read everything. We simply cannot accept that you were unaware of or surprised by these policies, or that the behavior in which you have partaken would lead to the suspension of your account. So, because you claim all these things, I am totally aware of them? That's not how it works. You should also note that all of your tickets have been replied to in a timely manner. DeviantArt staff does not simply ignore or delay replying to tickets by non-core members. That's bullshit. We receive hundreds of tickets each day and review them as quickly as possible. That's also bullshit, because usually when you say the number of tickets solved each day, it's under 10 sometimes. So, the fact that you repeatedly and deliberately violated policy until staff had no choice but to suspend your account to clarify that you are indeed in violation of policy, and that we will, commas, damn fear commas, and that we will not simply ignore this behavior does not entitle you to a more quick reply than other deviant who has submitted, to any other deviant who has submitted a ticket. I don't understand why he's saying these things. Claiming that I deliberately violated policy? No. I do not purposefully break rules. Never have. Never will. I am an enforcer of rules. How many times have I told little kids that they're not allowed to be on YouTube? Come on. I don't even jaywalk. Oh, Reitanna, you must be fun at parties. Yeah, I'm fun at parties because it's a fucking party. That is if the party doesn't include fucking drugs, because, newsflash, you can have fun without drugs. So, and apparently, I feel entitled to a more quick reply. No, I don't feel entitled for anything. I expect a quick reply when this has been a recent issue, meaning my ticket has come in recently, therefore, response. I mean, seriously. DeviantArt has been more than generous, allowing you to speak your mind on our servers. Here's where it gets nasty. Your quote-unquote rants against DeviantArt employees have not been removed, even though these could easily be seen as a personal attack against a professional. Despite this, you seem to feel that your rights have been infringed upon, which I will now address. Here it is. A couple of facts about the First Amendment of the United States Constitution and how it applies to the idea of free speech. First, the United States Constitution applies only in the United States. This is an important issue because when you post offensive content to an internet site, it travels to places not covered by the United States laws, including its Constitution, and exposes the operation of the DeviantArt community to violation of laws, serious ones, in other countries. Fact. That is one. But you are not taking into account internet laws. Second, the actual legal force of the First Amendment applies only in protecting individuals against actions taken by the United States government. DeviantArt is not run by the government of the United States. I will admit I did not know that the government couldn't do anything about a website treating its citizens like shit. So, my bad. Third, DeviantArt is committed to free expression as a right, but it is also required to follow the laws of many jurisdictions. There are very real and very important criminal laws against the depiction of minors in pornographic and sexually explicit situations or poses, both visually and in literature. Well, thank you for clarifying that to me finally this one time. And they are all quite different from one country to another. DeviantArt must respect these laws as matter of social responsibility and as simple matter of the law itself. I could have used that information a long time ago. I hope this fully addresses your confusion and your complaints. The suspension against your account will not be reduced, and due to your inability to abide by DeviantArt policy despite your ability to quote it, your alternate account will not be returned to active status for the foreseeable future. If you are unable to conduct yourself... Oh, so this is where he said it? I completely missed this, probably because I was blind with fury. So this is a 6-month shit, and I completely overlooked it because I'm not perfect. Please be aware that this suspension will also serve as your final warning on DeviantArt if you continue to submit pornographic material, visual, or literature, if you continue to cause community disruption, to attempt to attack members of DeviantArt through screenshot submissions, quote-unquote rants, or any future violation of DeviantArt policy, staff will be required to remove you from the community indefinitely. Please take this time to fully review our policies and consider your reasons for being on DeviantArt, as well as your tone and behavior on the site. We look forward to you returning as an active and positive member of the community. That's absolute bullshit. Why using the word rants? That is so unprofessional. I vent. I speak my mind, which you said before. Why using rants? Yeah, I use the word rant as a joke. I'm not fucking serious. I have a problem with going on tangents, which is akin to a rant. It's a problem. I have it. I know it. So I said, trying to address every single topic with my mind mixing in and out with just the worst thoughts. This is so frustrating. No, I cannot log into my main account. How could I? It's suspended. That's why I logged into this one to contact you. You see, you've gone against your own policies before, so I figured this was one of your ingenious ways to make sure the deviant in question is unable to contact you, since there was no location of the email addresses you specified. One of my fans had to hunt it down for me, and I sent an email earlier today. Now, on to your logic. Alright, so, as I said, if you care to read for once, I received no warning on my literature. Yeah, some were taken down, but I just assumed it was because you have it out for me and I find it and for me and find it fun to induce attacks on me, which is very dangerous, as I have mentioned before. I have medication, but I still have feelings, and when stressed to the limits you have put me through, well, I had a very violent attack yesterday, and if my boyfriend hadn't been home, I definitely wouldn't be here to talk to you. Thanks for the trigger. I love it. I don't remember what happened during the attack, which is normal. But the fact that I had been doing so well. Back to the issue. You guys told me that if I submitted my perfectly legal fan art again, I'd be suspended. So guess what? I didn't do that. No one told me, stop posting these chapters or you will be suspended. Your guys' lack of communication is sickening. As I said before, I was under the impression that literature was no problem, seeing as how telling a story is simply speech. You are saying I am not allowed to tell a story? Oh wait, you've already mentioned I'm not allowed to speak. I do not post your guys' bullshit to attack you people, because I don't have the power to bring you down. You know, you're gonna bring down the man. What with your precious money to spend on lawyers that could crush me. I'm expressing my rights as an individual to show people what you do. According to virtual freedom of expression laws, which are not U.S. specific, defendants can, and this is quoted, defendants can only be held liable if they are authorized, ratified, or directly threatened violence. If defendants threaten to commit violent acts by working alone or with others, then their statements could probably support the verdict. But if their statements merely encouraged unrelated terrorists, then their words are protected by the First Amendment. But again, that's saying the First Amendment, but that was also explaining virtual freedom of expression laws. Does that still only apply to the USA? Because I didn't know that. To add to this, though it is about the First Amendment, in considering whether context could import a violent meaning to ACLA's nonviolent statements, we deem it highly significant that all statements were made in context of public discourse, not in direct personal communications. Although the First Amendment does not protect all forms of public speech, such as statements inciting violence or an imminent panic, the public nature of the speech bears heavily upon whether it could be interpreted as a threat. As we held in McCain-Calden versus California Library ASSN, public speeches advocating violence are given substantially before leeway under the First Amendment than privately communicated threats. There are two reasons for this distinction. First, what may be hyperbole in a public speech may be understood and intended as a threat if communicated directly to the person threatened, whether face-to-face, by telephone, or by letter. In targeting the recipient personally, the speaker leaves no doubt that he is sending the recipient a message of some sort. In contrast, typical political statements at rallies or through the media are far more diffuse in their focus because they are generally intended, at least in part, to shore up political support for the speaker's position. Second, and more importantly, speech made through the normal channels of group communication and concerning matters of public policy is given the maximum level of protection by the Free Speech Clause before it lies at the because it lies at the core of the First Amendment. So, that is about the First Amendment, but it is very helpful. I have not threatened anyone. I have not tried to encourage violence. I have not attacked you. I have expressed my feelings toward your behavior and that I believe you should be replaced. I'm soapboxing, which is entirely legal and non-violent. You don't like that I'm showing people the truth, and you don't like that I'm a free thinker. And I say this because this is what my fans and friends have also said, and they do things that make me feel like it's the truth. As unreasonable as it sounds, can you really take away my right to tell people what's going on if it does no harm? It's not disruptive. It's eye-opening, if anything. It's to give petition creators the visual proof they need to aid in their side. I'm not the only one who does it. Quite a few of mine I've disabled comments because your sheep are the ones who like to be disruptive. If there are people outside of a business with picket signs... Oh, I mentioned picket signs again? Huh! You're not allowed to tell them to shut up. I barely remember anything I actually said, so... You're not allowed to tell them to shut up or even leave because they are a conduction, a non-violent protest. They are conduction a non-violent protest, whatever. As am I. You guys claim to be against censorship. I knew it was a lie. That's all you people do. As for your fun little rules, tell me, how is 6 adults sitting around in a lightly suggestive manner worse than little elementary schoolers being raped and disemboweled? Because that was, and still is, a thing. I'm pretty sure that guy still has a fucking DeviantArt account. Because that guy keeps getting reported, but nothing's happening. Not to mention the rest of the real child pornography, fetish porn, cell phone snapshots of genitals, etc. on your site. How is it that someone who shoves a live lizard up her vagina and takes a picture of it to upload here isn't banned, but in fact is said not to be in violation by an admin immediately after the photos had been previously taken down by a different admin, but the user uploaded them a second time? That is also a true story. Why did the second report say the pictures were not a violation? How is it that everyone else can post graphic and offensive pornography that gets reported, but some of us can't post fictional stories? I get it, alright? You're sensitive and I need to walk on eggshells around you, but come on, enforce your own damn rules on others too, not just the 1%. Because yes, I am being immaturely frustrated in this, and I feel like I was within my reason to say these things, because fuck. Listen, I'm not the most mature person on the planet. I am responsible and have common sense, but I missed out on learning. I missed out. I'm a child. I hate it. I know it. But anyway, I am still sickened by the fact that I'm not allowed to post fan art of canon adults that come from an adult cartoon aimed at adults with hundreds of examples of sexualization. Are you telling me the creator of the show is sexualizing minors, even though they're in their 20s? I challenge you to watch one episode and not find anything sexual, because it is an adult cartoon that constantly refers to their sexual lives and frustrations. But lo and behold, I had no choice but to just bend over and take it, because you have supreme power as the tyrant you are, and I do not. Since you often don't get the message the first time it's said, no, I was not aware that I was going to get suspended. No, I was not warned of it. No, it did not say anything about literature in your rules, unless you worded it in a way only a legal professional could understand, like a good chunk of your legal policy, which I assume claims that we couldn't sue you even if we had the money to do so. Yes, my suspension was a very big and unpleasant surprise. As for interacting with the community with this current account, how else was I supposed to tell my fans where I am? I don't think you realize how freaked out they get if I disappear, because they are aware of my disabilities. So while waiting for you to answer my ticket, I directed people to my journal explaining things, as well as replied to a note to someone I am trying to reconcile with. Listen, I never willingly break rules. I've never been one to do that when I was a kid, and I don't do it now. But when you guys fail to communicate with us, or twist your rules to where it makes it look like we broke them on purpose, it's really hard to figure out what to and not to do. It's frustrating, confusing, and the stress you put me under is way more than I should have. Did you know that stress actually kills brain cells? I already have a sad excuse of a brain. I don't need it to die before I do. Things were just looking up for me. I hadn't cut myself in months. I hadn't considered killing myself. I felt healthy, but for the first time in ages, I said out loud, I want to die. And months of progress fleshed out away by an onset of triggers. People ask me, why don't you leave DA? Because there is no other art site that compares to you. I hope you realize that if I left, I wouldn't be able to pay my rent, my bills, or afford to eat, because my career depends on these people, and I guarantee they would not follow me to a different art site. I'm a middle-class American that tries her hardest every day just to squeak by every month. I'm so sorry. I'm crying, guys. I need to let it out. And I am not risking my financial stability just because you've got something against me. There are thousands of deviants who are in the exact same boat. DA is Walmart, and all of the other art sites are ma and pa shops that Walmart crushes. You are a legal monopoly. You have no competition. I am trying my hardest to stay calm so that I don't have another attack, but I can assure you I was not made aware of the things you claim I was aware of. When I go to my site, it's suspended. Can't contact you there. This account has been indefinitely banned, which means it's banned until you people decide to lift it. Since I was able to log in, see everything, and still contact the help desk, it must mean that being indefinitely banned still gives you the opportunity to contact the help desk, whereas suspension doesn't. There was no other way to contact you that I was aware of. It's not stated in the FAQ. Your email addresses are not readily available, or even easy to find. I have never seen those email addresses on this site until someone gave it to me on YouTube, who said, and I quote, "It wasn't easy to find, but try this. Insert email address." Listen, I'm not as healthy as I'd like to be. I do things I can't control because of it, and I don't like it. But when you purposefully play with my head like this, it gets me turned around. At this point, I'm pretty sure my medication wore off or something. And I don't even know what the rules of society are. People aren't allowed to be human anymore. That's where my mind goes, and I see you as a threat, and I'm scared. That's why I tell people about you, so that maybe someone will do something, someone who knows the laws, or someone that can get a petition going that will actually get your CEO out of his everything's fine mindset. You seriously want to punish me because you failed to do your job. I never got a warning on eye candy. I got a warning on no pants, and that's it. Stop playing with my head, alright? It's not funny. You guys hate me because I'm not afraid to speak up about the injustice. But the fact that you're saying I'm suddenly not allowed to soapbox makes me afraid. It's asinine. It's censorship. It's a company getting violent with their strikers who aren't causing any actual harm except to voice their desire for change. I will, once again, please request for my suspension to at least be reduced to 2 weeks on account of I was not made aware of the details of the situation. I also request the ban on this account to be lifted on account of it was the only way I could figure out how to contact the help desk. As I said in my original ticket, even though the FAQ says to not log into another account, I didn't know how else to contact you. Please tell me how I can be punished for something I did not know. My boyfriend told me they don't want you to try and appeal. That's why they're doing this. It's the only thing that makes sense, since I couldn't do anything else. You have made yourself quite clear that you don't care about the well-being of the deviants. Or you do, or if you do, you like to attack me. So yeah, I'll tiptoe on eggshells around you people. I'll be super extra careful not to submit stuff that everyone else is allowed to. DA never used to be such a farce, but until like 4 years ago, you're turning into Tumblr. Tumblr is the lowest of the low. I soapbox because I need to vent. I need to vent to relieve stress. I need to relieve stress so I don't have attacks. I don't want attacks because they make me a danger to myself. Venting is harmless. Soapboxing is harmless. Protesting is harmless. I wish not to be prohibited for speaking my mind, expressing my feelings, and doing something that enables the health of my mentality. I try to report people who are breaking the rules, people who scoff at being blocked and simply use other accounts just to harass stalkers, pedophiles, spammers, and once upon a time when you guys always said, report someone who is stealing your work, art thieves. I try coming to you guys to take care of the real threats on this site, the real disruptions, the real problems, and up until around 4 years ago, the staff was completely competent and enforced their rules, and repercussions for breaking them. They didn't twist them around, they didn't make things up, they didn't play around. But now the community is riddled with absolute chaos, and I, a non-threatening individual, am not allowed to stand up and say, look what they're doing, it's not right. I don't know what's right and what's wrong anymore. Everything I learned is mashed up into a jumble of words I can't decipher. People are allowed to harass others to suicide, but I'm not allowed to make statements? Whatever. If you want to unrightfully silence someone who is harmless, fine, I'll continue to collect what I need to show how corrupt you people are, and I'll keep it for when I need it, whenever that moment comes. If you want to pretend that literature isn't okay, fine, I'll upload the quote-unquote offensive chapters somewhere else. If I'm not allowed to draw adults, even though I was told by an admin that illustrations of non-indecent sexual activity between adult characters, censored and everything, is not breaking any rules, then fine, I'll just draw characters that... And then I go, wait, See, I don't get it. So does that mean that Dragon Ball Z characters aren't allowed to be depicted either, since there was a show called Dragon Ball where Goku was a child? Because I've never been dinged on that. Again, your logic makes no sense. If it is canon that the characters grow to be adults, it is not sexualizing minors. We all grow up. Am I still a minor since I was underage for 18 years of my life? Stop toying with my head. Whatever, just please reduce the suspension that I was wrongfully issued, and please tell me the next time I'm doing something wrong, which they didn't this time. Because if I do something wrong, I'm obviously not aware that it's wrong. Use your common sense, please. Communication is key. And please stop harassing me every time I'm just trying to seek help. All I've done is voice that you are continuously breaking your own rules or making up stuff. I haven't given you threats or whatever, so you have no reason to bully me. Admins should not bully, they should do their jobs. All any of us want is fairness, because life isn't fair, so we expect controlled communities to be fair, so we can escape from life's atrocities every once in a while. God, I bet you didn't even read this. I'm just trash, aren't I? I just went on to just another thing to step on. That's all any of us are to you, filthy trash. I was born trash, I was treated like a punching bag as a child, and I tried to become better to overcome it. Yet I'm still trash. It's just fun, isn't it? I just kept going in things that weren't even important, because I was losing it. This is why I don't trust anyone. You all like to mess with people who already have to deal with instability. Because they know very well. They know very well. If they have been watching me this entire time, they know very well that I am not okay. I don't know why I'm not used to it by now. Every time I stand up, someone strikes me down. Just stop singling me out. You have plenty of other people to pick on. I just want a reason to be happy. And my art is the closest thing I have to something happy. Why am I even still typing this reply? And they ignored me until Anjali repeated that I knew what I was doing. And I was like, did you not read anything I said? No, I cannot log into my account. No, it's not warned. Blah, blah, blah. I basically repeated everything that I had already said. Not even taking my side into consideration. And because Damn Fierce claimed that I was, making public their misdeeds, that I was harassing them, and that makes no sense. But here is my conclusion to everything. In my most recent ticket, you have been indefinitely banned from DeviantArt with a reason of continued use of screenshots to harass staff members on site despite specific warnings laid out your suspension appeal, continually causing community drama and disruption despite many warnings. Again, one warning that did not specify that I was doing anything wrong. Because, and you will see why. I said, what? No, I got one warning. One, and that was Dampfear, who claimed that my ranting was harassing staff members, which is, again, not what I'm doing. I stated very clearly in my description of that screenshot that my purpose of taking it was the equivalent of striking, with picket signs. It is a non-violent protest and literally has done no harm to anyone. I am not messaging the staff. I am alerting my fellow deviants of the problems you cause, and I'm trying to seek help from them if they know a way to help me contact who I need to speak to. I have not threatened you. I have not been violent toward you. If anything, I've tried my damnedest to remain professional, and a couple times I've been pushed too far, but only far enough to allow my language to become completely unprofessional, which again is not harassment toward anyone. I curse. That's how I speak, and the fact that I've taken all of this and not cursed at you people the entire time is a freaking miracle. If you read the part of the description in the screenshot where it said to DA staff, you will understand my aims, goals, and intentions. Allow me to quote what I said. This is when I need to ask for your help. And I quoted the whole, if you harass these admins, blah, 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 blah. And then I said, in the next paragraph, I continued to say to the DA staff, this is a civil and peaceful flat. I already read that to you. Did you get some of my watchers harassing the staff? If so, I specifically told them not to. I do not control what people do. I can only tell them that if they do something bad will happen. You cannot blame me for something someone else did. I'm very sorry if another user or users have tried to speak on my behalf, because clearly that was the last thing I wanted. Frankly, if this has ever happened in the past, I did not send them. Frankly, I didn't know it happened. It's not like they told me your quote-unquote followers are harassing us. They did not tell me that. They claimed that I was harassing them. Soapboxing is something that has been part of history for centuries. It is harmless. I wish for my voice to be heard, not for a bunch of numbskulls to go attack people for me. If they harassed you, ban them. I did nothing wrong. As for the quote-unquote multiple warnings, I can guarantee to you that I received one warning to not cause harm or disruption, in which I have not. If other people did because they have no common sense, that's not something I should be blamed for. I highly doubt me speaking out has caused disruption to your company or the thousands of users on this site. In fact, me speaking out is like trying to find one black ant among thousands of red ants. I'm not that important. I don't know why you think I am, but I'm not. My intentions have always been clear. Show other people the truth. I vent in my descriptions because it pisses me off, but again, I need to vent for my health. I don't need you guys causing me any more panic attacks. I seriously am sick of repeating myself, but you people just don't read. I have done nothing wrong. You say you have been indefinitely banned from DeviantArt with a reason of continued use of screenshots to harass staff members. But see, that's where you're wrong. I did not continue to use screenshots to harass staff members, and I never have. I have used screenshots to speak up. I honestly can't understand how that's not obvious. But then again, you people think that adult characters are children. Someone told me that you're intimidated by me. Another person told me you're afraid to admit I'm right. A huge number of people told me you have it out for me. The more you gang up on me, the more I believe it. I mean, how am I supposed to believe anything else at this point? How? I have to repeat myself again. I harassed no one. If someone else did, trying to stand up for me, I am sincerely sorry for their stupidity. I am, and always have been, harmless. I stick up for myself when I need to, but I do not go out of my way to chase you people down, stalk you, spam you, and say everything that I very much want to say to you. I'm sorry, but I don't need to waste my time doing something bad. If I do bad things, I feel bad, so I do good things. I'm no leader. I do not consider my fans and friends my followers. Hell, the last time I quote-unquote deployed my troops was when I was like 16. I don't know if you remember this, but teenagers are stupid. For anyone who's been a teenager, you know teenagers are stupid. I think one time I went onto Dampier's page and stated that what they were doing is wrong. But did I stay? No, I did not. Did I come back? No, I did not. I have 2 accounts, this one and Ask Anna Tier. You have access to all of my activity, and you can see that I have never harassed your staff members. If someone is pretending to be me, then you guys should be able to tell that whatever account that it is not me. I'm not using a proxy. My IP address never changes. I always use the same computer. I hide nothing. When I say something, I mean it. I don't mean something opposite. Again, I don't understand how that's not obvious. So, once again, I would like to appeal this ban on account of the only warning I received was to not harass staff members. I have not done that. Any person or persons who have done so on my behalf is acting on their own accord. I honestly didn't realize people were doing this without my knowledge. So if that's the problem, and you just find it easier to blame me because I have a voice, then fine. Please allow me to be crude and say, fuck it, I'll roll over and I'll stop posting screenshots to DA. If people can't take my feelings into consideration, and if people act in the exact way I don't want them to, then fine. This isn't the first time people have ruined something for others. But seriously, you cannot punish me for doing something I did not do. Fuck, if you want me to delete all screenshots, I will. It would have been nice if you told me that this harassment was happening. Then I would have actually known that it was causing a problem, instead of accusing me of doing the actual harassing and claiming that that was my intention. Do you know what protests are supposed to do? to voice the problem so that peaceful solutions can be made. I'm not the person who goes up to a building and throws a rock through the window. I'm just another angry person with a sign. My head hurts so bad. So, what do I need to do? Like I said, I'll take down the proof of your misdeeds. I'll stop posting them to DA, whatever, but only because stupid people are being stupid. Should I never report any problems to people? Spammers, stalkers, pedophiles, people who constantly call other people's art cancer? Should I not report bugs or try to figure out how to do something on the site? Do you seriously want to play dictator and shut me up for being a free thinker, even though I am not the one causing disruption? Then, fine. I wish to not do more time for another crime I did not commit. I haven't even checked to see if Ask Anna tier was unbanned yet, and I assume I shouldn't right now because I have to walk on eggshells on this site. It never used to be this way. Is there something else I can do? Publicly say that DA is the best ever and everything I have said isn't true? I really don't want to lie because that'd be breaking my code. But you need to actually tell me instead of pretending like I knew better, which is insanely frustrating. I do not purposefully break rules. I'm an enforcer of rules. I don't even jaywalk. So communicate with me how I can get my account back, because I am not losing 9 years of hard work to prove I'm worth something, most of which does not exist on my current computer. Read my ticket and tell me in clear words that cannot be misinterpreted in any way, shape, or form, so I know what to do. And please, for the love of God, don't assign this to Damphir. I am honestly begging you. I'll take reality squared over Damphir. Please, not Damphir. I was begging. Why was I begging? Why was I saying any of this shit? But still, it needs to be said, and if I lose it, then I lose it, but fuck. If you have someone other than those two, that would be the biggest relief in the friggin' world. And please don't say, this is what you did, so you're banned. Because what you accuse me of and what I did are clearly not the same thing. I want to get my account unbanned, so instead of saying you're shit out of luck, instruct me. Tell me the steps I need to take to fix the problem. I am sick and tired of being punished for nothing. Just please be straight with me for once. I mean, can I speak to Heidi? At least she's friendly. Give me the work, I'll do it. Give them the screen name. Give me the screen names. I said them for some reason. Give me the screen names of the people harassing the staff. I'll block them. I'll even speak to them and tell them what they did wasn't right. I mean, come on. You really think I did this to focus my energy on specific people? I really don't care that much about specific staff members. It's black and white. Specific staff members cause problems for the community. I use screen names to mention what they did. I put energy into fixing the issue. I care about the problems you cause, not you specifically. I'm not interested in making you feel bad. I'm interested in changing the way the staff as a whole handles things. I'm sorry if I wanted this side to be good again. I'm sorry that I wanted us as a community to feel safe on this site like we used to. I guess, in my head, I couldn't see anyone taking it as a sign for them to get hostile because, well, it's wrong. Then again, I can never understand people who do things like that in the first place. I have a bad habit of assuming normal people make good, smart decisions. It's really dawning on me just how wrong I am to do that. And that is where I will admit I did something wrong, and I will apologize. And God, I hope you're reading this, and this is where it all just comes together. I was wrong. Even though my personal intentions were harmless, I was too naive to assume everyone else was going to actually do damage. I look at what is right, and that's all I see. I have always been surprised by people making stupid decisions, and that's one of my faults. At this point, with everything I've been through, I should know people better. I've always been passionate about righting wrongs, and I wanted to try and help people see this huge wrong was happening under their noses so that we may gather up all of our information, compile it together, and actually have a successful petition. I mean, I'm not the only one who screenshots my tickets. Have you given them any of the harassment you've given me? I doubt it. All the same, I feel like I'm one of the only people who just want peace, who wish to work to bring it, to make this site a better place for all of us. Other people are just, well, they just want to harm others. My actions may have caused others to act this way, even though I said not to, and I don't understand why they do that, but yes, that is where I have made my mistake, and that is where I was horribly wrong. Actually, writing this appeal has caused me to slowly come to that realization, so I'm sorry. I'll stop. I'll take it all down.
Just please don't ban me, suspend me or something. I'll do the time. I just want an actual span of time. Relate to me, because I can't stand not knowing things. Groveling will get me nowhere. Begging will get me nowhere, so I need to know what to do. Whatever it is, just please don't make me lose all of this work. Tell me what to do, and I will do it. And this is why I am so frustrated, because all this time I thought that I was being blamed for things I didn't do. And all this time, people have been harassing these admins on my behalf when I never said not to, and they never told me it was happening. I never knew. No one told me. And if you're one of these people, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself, especially after this last one when I said not to harass them. I am not interested in causing harm to Dampier or Reality Squared specifically. I am interested in changing the way the site is run. Peacefully. If you go and you troll these admins, if you just hark on them to stand up for me, how does that even sound like a justifiable thing? How does that sound like justice? How does that sound like a good idea? It doesn't. Because you know that I am not weak. You know I can fight my battles. And when I need help, I ask for the proper help. I do not go, hey, can you guys go and attack these people for me because they're making me so sad? No. When I ask for help, I ask for information that could help all of us. I am not doing this for me. I am doing it for everybody. Because you have no idea how many times I have seen this with other deviants. You have no idea how many people have come to me saying they've experienced the exact same thing with the exact same admins. You have no idea. The sheep think I'm doing this for attention, but I am not, because I genuinely, I'm sorry if this is somehow abnormal, I genuinely believe in what is right. I believe in doing right things. And I don't understand how they can say normal people wouldn't put this through this enough energy, whatever, if they didn't want attention. To me, that does not seem logical. The words in that sentence do not connect to each other. But because of my desire to make things right for all of us, for everyone who has had these problems, I have been blinded once again to the stupidity of my fellow man. To think that people would actually look at this and come to the conclusion, oh, Reitanna wants me to stand up for her. If I wanted you to stand up for me, I would have said, stand up for me. Whenever I say support me, it's not the same as stand up. And when I say support, it's when you people, it's not pity or sympathy, it's support. When you people tell me, hey, some people say they're sorry this is happening, but they show their support in words that aren't like, oh, I feel so sorry for you. That is the worst. That is the worst thing. That is the worst thing. Why would you try to get pity and sympathy in such a way? If I wanted to get pity and sympathy, I can't even. That is an example. When my pets pass away, when my rats, they're getting old, they could go within the next year. Yeah, I want sympathy for that, because they are my children. But pity for me, sympathy for me, I'm sorry. I've said this a million times. And I cannot believe that people still accuse me of doing this. No. I don't want to hear, I feel so sorry for you. I don't want to hear, oh, poor you. I want understanding. That people understand that this is going on. That's all I've ever wanted. I cannot think of any selfish reason that I've ever tried to get pity or sympathy from people in my life. And I've always spent my life under this impression that normal people tell the truth. And normal people don't do drugs. Normal people don't bully others. Those are just special kinds of people. But no, it's the other way around. You know, I always thought normal people don't make these stupid decisions. Normal people don't put words in other people's mouths. It's the exact opposite. And I'm not special. I have never claimed to be special. Ever. There are plenty of you like me who have the common sense, who are honest, who try to do everything that's right, who firmly believes in good deeds. We are apparently abnormal because we, along the lines, learned how to suppress our natural instincts of being evil, violent, hostile creatures. We are, in a sense, domesticated, where we have felt compassion. And yeah, I do show signs of being a sociopath. 80% of them, actually. And, you know, people who don't understand what a sociopath is will automatically think, oh my god, man, you're such a bad person. But the reason why I'm not a 100% sociopath is because, yes, I do feel empathy. Sure, I'm able to lie, but do I? No, I choose not to. I chose to stop lying when I really saw how many people lied to me, how many people would lie to my face, when I really started to wisen up and see through people, when I started to see the physical signs of their lies. And it took a lot of effort. It did. But that effort into convincing myself that it was okay to tell the truth made me come to the conclusion that it is easier to tell the truth than to lie. It is easier to be honest. It is easier to do the right thing. The only people who thinks it's hard to do the right thing are just afraid of other people like them. And I sincerely do feel guilt about something that I did not intentionally do. Because my intentions are clear as day. And yet, people took it as, let's go gang up on these two admins. How? How is that logical? Please, somebody tell me how anyone can form that into a logical thought. After everything I've ever said, after everything I've ever done, how could you assume that that is what I wanted? And why would you go to the lengths anyway, even if that was what I wanted? I am not your leader. I am a person that you view my content, whether it be on DA or YouTube, and you technically follow me, meaning following my internet activity. I am not one of those celebrities out there who are literally walking advertisements, those TV and movie people who exist to just advertise clothing brands and shit. People on the internet Like, I like to think that people like PewDiePie and Markiplier, yeah, they're big internet celebrities, but I don't see them as walking advertisements, and I hope to God that Adam doesn't ruin that for me. But I am not a celebrity. I am not well known. I am recognizable. Some of my stuff is liked, some of my stuff is disliked, but a majority of people don't even know I exist. When you go walking on the street, you can mention PewDiePie or Markiplier, and they go, oh, I know who you're talking about. You mention Reitanna, Seishin, and I am shocked if you get a, oh, I know who that is. I am supposed to be an ally. I am supposed to be a friend. I am supposed to be there as support for those of you who can relate to me. Because I didn't have that when I was younger. I create and I share my creations because I want to feel proud of it. Because people have told me that because I feel this little ounce of pride every so often that I somehow am vain and feel that I am better than everyone else. I was conditioned to believe that I needed to beat myself down every single time I ever felt good about myself. And I did. And Mike always tells me this isn't good for you, you need to stop. And right now I'm going to try my hardest to stop. I'm going to stop beating myself up, but I will tell you right now that I have never been and will never be vain. I wish I could be Inky Pie. I wish I could be Coda or Tenji or Evelyn. I wish I could be these people. I wish that I could look somebody in the face and say, I'm all that and a bag of chips. Deal with it. I wish I had that confidence, because if I had that confidence, I wouldn't have all of these problems. I had a friend once who was very proud of being vain, and all she wanted was to become a MySpace celebrity. I couldn't see the point. I don't do what I do to be popular, because if you do what you do to be popular, you're not going to succeed. You're going to fail. People ask me, how did you become popular? How do you become popular on DeviantArt? How do you become popular on YouTube? You know what I did? I worked. And my goal was never to become popular. My goal was to share what I did. I wanted to share my hard work with other people who also enjoy that type of thing. Popularity? I believe I read the definition one time in a Webster book years ago. The definition of popularity was starving for attention. That if that's what you're concerned about, whether it be on the internet or in school, if you follow all the latest trends just to be popular, then what are you doing? You're not being a person. You are not a person. You are a lie. You are essentially a lie in physical form. And this is why I don't hold secrets. This is why I'm open about my past. This is why I'm open about my mentality. This is why I'm open about all of the issues, all of the things that piss me off. Because I need to be. Because that's who I am. That's how I feel. It doesn't make me emo, whatever the fuck that even is anymore. Because it's not. And any sheep who accuses me or anyone else of these things just because you are being a human being, fuck them. Because they are looking in a mirror and they are saying these things to themselves. It's the only way they can. If any of you watching this, well, listening to this, if any of you are the ones who harass these admins, thinking that that's what I would like, please just admit who you are. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to threaten you. I'm not going to make you feel bad about yourself. I want to know who you are so that I can block you.
And that's a much milder punishment than me yelling at you, trust me. And even when yelling over the internet has like 2% the effect of yelling in person, because if I could yell at people in person, I would bring them to their knees sobbing. And if you don't believe me, you don't know me. Because if, people are like, oh, you better watch what you say, and I'm like, really? Come get me. Because unless you're holding a gun up to my head, you ain't got nothing on me. Seriously, waste your time and money to come find me. I am not afraid of you. And I will take you on, and you will not be able to say these things to my face. Because unlike young child Reitanna, I know how to be strong. And I wish I had the future me to go back and tell her everything she was doing wrong and how to fix it. They say history happens for a reason. And if it does, what was my reason? What is my purpose for being here? Being a unplanned mistake to a whore and literally born into tragedy and forced to endure so much bad luck that it eventually adds up to it doesn't even make any sense anymore. I'm too young to be getting kidney stones. And I don't have the diet of somebody who gets kidney stones. It literally came out of nowhere, and you know what? There is no proof that I actually had the stone. I only had immediate symptoms on the single day that I supposedly passed it, and because of that, I cannot see a urologist, whatever, because they would not accept me, even if my kidney still fucking hurts. It's messed up. That's what's happened to me. If I'm going to be honest, if things are going that bad, I might have to have part of my colon removed. I'm going to be honest on that one. Because that's an embarrassing thing, but that I admit that I have been hiding. Sometimes things don't work. But if things do work out, then we won't have to go that far. But it's literally, I'm not scared of what you have to say. It hurts me. Yeah. It bugs me, it pisses me off. But how about instead of hiding behind a fucking computer and just doing it for the lulz, come find me! Come find me and say it to my fucking face! Because you won't be able to! And if I had the courage to do that when I was younger, none of my bullies would have ever said the shit that they have said to me. Because you know what you are? You are cowards. And I've said this so many times, but I need to say it repeatedly so that I make sure that my messed up mind, that quote-unquote Anna believes that you literally are not worth it. That when I say we are not equals, it doesn't mean that I am better than everyone else. It means that people like me are better than people like you. People like me who stand up, who are honest, who are just, who try to do their damnedest to do the right thing. We are better than you. You are not equals to us. You are nothing to us. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people, there are thousands, millions of people in this world that suffer because of you. People who have committed suicide because of you. That need to believe this. And unfortunately, because of, what's it called? Hang on, I need to look up this term again. Okay, I knew it started with a P. It's called pluralistic ignorance, and it can pertain to things as trivial as being afraid to raise your hand in the middle of class, to being afraid to report a rape that you just witnessed. Basically, it's if you're in a group of people, a large group of people, say a crowd or a classroom, you are waiting for anyone else to make the action. You are waiting for somebody else to answer the teacher's question. You are waiting for somebody else to call the police because 30 of you are witnessing a rape. And yes, this is a true story. This has happened. Because of pluralistic ignorance, because of society bending us over and whipping our behinds with the tools of human ignorance. Wow. Because of that, people are afraid to speak up and show their strength. Because of that, sheep, trolls, bullies have the upper hand. Because let's face it, you come face to face with one of your victims, and you're going to be running for your life because you don't know if that victim is a psychopath. Because if you run, say like you run into me, you're going to get your ass handed to you in a legal way, obviously, unless you're just that much of a little shit and I beat the shit out of you. But all fantasies aside, and coming back to reality, you never know if you come across that one person who wants to hunt you down and waste their energy to do so, to come find you. They bought a gun because it's easy to. It doesn't matter what state you live in. You have the ammunition. You can get it. You can get it from your parents because they have it under their bed or in a box on top of the closet. They have it. They have a gun. They have a knife. Maybe they are strong enough with their own 2 fists. And they will come after you and they will kill you. It has happened. It is rare. But if something is a possibility, don't you think you shouldn't rule out the probability? I fantasize about hunting you guys down and, just hurting you. But realistically, am I going to do that? No. No, I am not. I am by social definition, I'm an introvert. I am a sociophobe. I have social anxiety. I can't leave my house without anybody accompanying me. I am, I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money to go out and travel, which I'm afraid of doing. So, as much as angry Reitanna likes to fantasize about these things that could totally happen in Encephalon, but not the real world, this is the real world. But just because I wouldn't do it doesn't mean that other people aren't actually crazy. Because there is definitely a difference between a psycho and an insane person. Society that doesn't know any better loop those things interchangeably. The movies, movies are always based on a little bit of truth, no matter how small it is. And even though I went on again on one of my legendary rants, because ranting times for the interwebs, blah blah blah. I guess if you people like hearing that, then good for you. You got it. You got it at its worst. No, this isn't at its worst. You got it at a bad time. I really, really wish I had my medication. My insurance, again, is being stupid. Stupid fucking bureaucrats and paperwork and things they didn't send us and things that got there too late and we tried our fucking best and bureaucrats fucking hate them. Hate the government. Stand up against the man, yo. Just kidding. I just, to get back to what I was actually saying, me blocking you is not a punishment. Me blocking you is for my sake, because I don't want you around. My short-term memory loss will take care of you. It will wipe you from my memory. It has so many times with so many people, I just want to know who you are so I can stop associating with you. Because you are a bad person. And I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to make you individuals feel individually bad. You should just automatically feel guilty for what you have done. You know, I think that's one thing, well, one of the two things that really separates me from being an actual sociopath. So, you know, guilt. How do you feel it? I just don't want to associate with people who have gone out of the way to act as my army. Alright? I don't. Because if you've done that, chances are you're a kid anyway that should not be watching my content, should not be following me or anything. Some people say that I'm their idol, and I should only be their quote-unquote idol in certain ways, i.e. my, opinions against drugs, my stance against drugs and alcohol, my thirst for honesty and good, the things that I do to prove that I am trying to be strong against society's standards. These good attributes, but idolize the good attributes of me, but not just because they're mine, because other people have these attributes too. I'm just the one who's voicing them. I'm just the one you're hearing. I'm the one you're hearing at the moment, but tons of people have said the exact same things I've said. You have no idea how many times I've heard the exact same things I've said by other people, and I'm like, oh my god, that guy gets it! I'm just a person. I mean, I can say that I idolize MJK because he's a fucking god, but I'm just a person. And he would, honestly, he probably hates the fan worship he gets, but I don't give a damn. I'm a person. I'm not your leader. I am my leader. I am my follower. You should be your leaders. If you want to follow by my good examples, do it. I completely tell you to do it. Don't use drugs. And, even though technically, and we all know this, we've all known it, marijuana is not as bad for you as they've always made it seem. It doesn't change the fact that it is still bad in many ways. And I am willing to admit that, no, it hasn't killed anybody. If there's anything we should be banning, it's alcohol. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm against it. Michael made a good point. He said, let's just legalize everything. That way, we'll actually have population control. Because we don't have a predator. We are the only species that doesn't have a predator. And we are overpopulating the earth. So, yeah, go ahead. Do your drugs. Do it! You'll die. And that'll just be one less idiot out of our freaking ecosystem. Just get out. Get out of our gene pool. Seriously. Do it. But for those of you who are good people, who believe in the good, you follow my good examples. Staying away from drugs, staying in school, consistently learning, working on bettering yourself, working on dealing with all of your troubles. Because everybody has them. And it takes a lot of strength to admit you have them. It takes a lot more strength to come to somebody and tell them about them. Because you don't know who you're talking to. I say what I say. But how do you know I'm actually telling the truth? Even though I say I'm telling the truth, from a standpoint, or whatever, Reitanna English, I could be just as much of a monster. And you would have no idea. Because you trust me. You trust me because I say you can trust me. But you don't just trust me because I say you can trust me. Those of you who have come to me have learned that you can trust me. Those of you know that I'm not just another monster. Those of you who have come to me with their problems, I didn't go, oh haha, sucks to be you, dildo schwaggin' shit, suck my cock. No, I gave you honest advice. And I told you to tell me if it worked. And if it didn't, we'll work on something that does. And I've earned your trust. But other people who haven't done that, they're trusting me blindly. Honestly, that's not a smart idea. But they're lucky that I am the person who I say I am. Unfortunately, I'm not perfect. I'm as far from perfect as you can fucking get. Well, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm the most imperfect person in the world, because that's like the exact opposite of extreme vanity, and I know I'm not the most imperfect person, but I know that I am a human being, and I am very far from perfect. And I'm not ashamed or afraid to admit that. So, I mean, I always try to do what's right, but I'm riddled with bad luck, and I can't control what you guys do. So for those of you who actually were smart enough to not go attack these admins, just cross your fingers and hope that this ban, it's obviously not permanent because my account is still accessible, it just has my name crossed out. Cross your fingers and hope it doesn't last too long. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't realize what my actions could do, because I was too fucking convinced that people made good decisions. That people who consider themselves my friends or fans made good decisions. I was wrong. And I'm sorry. I honestly wish Damphir would talk to me like a human being instead of a staff member of a website. Tell me what's happened so I can honestly say that I was wrong and that I'm sorry. Because ignorance? They say ignorance is bliss, but you know that's not the whole quote, right? The quote is, and I'm reading it here, right, black and white, where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. Which means, very little knowledge is a dangerous thing. And I believe that was written in 1742. And, it's true. When somebody doesn't know something, you know, it may not be their fault, but it could come crashing down on that person. And God, if the staff would have just told me that this was happening, a lot of the damage could have been avoided. That's my one thing against them. Why can't they just communicate with me? The fact that they say I've been warned many times, when I've actually only been warned once, and the wording was so off that I couldn't understand that actual damage was being done, that they were simply being pansies, that they were simply little weak asses who couldn't take somebody just standing up and talking. That's what I honestly thought. I thought that they were just being little babies. But if people were actually singling these admins out and harassing them and actually causing disruption, I did not know of this. And I'm going to try to make it very clear to them that I did not know and that I am sorry. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I do care, you know? It's one of those moments where the bad decisions of other people make you realize that you deserve the punishment that they should have gotten. Because they believed your actions meant something different. Fuck. And I can blame the ones who did this all I want, because they are to blame. But I involuntarily did this to myself and to others. It was not my intention, and I feel bad about it. I feel bad. I feel betrayed. Already my trust in people was so low, I've only got 2 people I can trust. I've just gotta lay down and think about stuff. No, I'm not thinking of hurting myself, despite the fact that I'm not on my medication. My medication's just causing a lot of chemical imbalances. I need to be off my medication for a while to actually feel like hurting myself, unless I'm triggered. The random hurting myself, being danger to myself without a trigger, that takes a graduation of the imbalances overwhelming my system. So, no, I am not in any danger. I am not going to kill myself. I am not going to hurt anyone else. I'll probably tell Michael about this and cry to him a little bit. Or a lot of it. I don't know. I can't tell the future. Emotionally, I'm not fine. But physically, I'm fine. And really, when it all comes down to it, that's all that really matters. I'll come back at some point. And if they give me a definite response of that time I come back, I will tell you. Stop freaking out. Please, for the love of God. If I am not somewhere, stop freaking out. It's okay. I can take care of myself. And when I can't, I have Michael there. I don't need you guys to freak out like you do every time I'm missing or something. Alright? If something bad happens to me, Michael's been instructed to go on to my things and tell everybody what's happened. So if I kill myself, you will definitely know. Especially since I'll probably warn you beforehand. I'm fine physically. It's the stress I have to deal with, and I have to deal with that on my own. I don't need sympathy, I don't need pity. I need understanding. I need you to stand in your shoes and say, this is what is happening to another person. And this is how I feel about it, but I do not feel sorry for them. I just wish it were better. Or something. I don't know. Just tell me if you're the ones who did it. Out yourself. And save me the trouble of finding out the hard way, please. So I can block you. Alright? Reitanna's been working on a certain video project. Not a big one. A long one, but not a huge one. Reitanna has also finished the next main story in the Muffin series, which, since my DeviantArt stuff is still accessible, if you put in certain things, like if you, you can't see my stuff on my DeviantArt, but if you search, then my stuff will come up, my name is just crossed out, so search, Sting, Muffins, Story, My Little Pony, all those keywords, search that, and you'll find it. It's the next story. Only read it if you've read the other stories that haven't been narrated yet. I'm still on hiatus, working on the next narration for The Final Crusade. No, I do not know when it's going to be done. I never have, never will. Don't tell me that you don't know these things, or that you can't find them, because yes, you can. Alright? Just, I need to do what I need to do, and only time will tell when things come. But this has been one of the worst years of my fucking life. and I am not over-exaggerating, this has been... This and 2014 and 2009 and 2005. Those 4 dates, those 4 years, mark the worst years of my life. I mean, not in counting the entirety of my teenage years, of course, because teenagers suck. All the time, always. Being a teenager sucks. But when it really comes down to it, physically, mentally, situationally, this is definitely in the top 4 of one of the worst years of my life.
Oh, am I so emo for saying that? Oh my god. Cut my wrists and black my eyes because reasons.
Shut the fuck up, you sheep. Reitanna, we're your fans! I know, but I'm sure a sheep is trying to say that in some way. I'm not sure if I should disable the comments on this video. It's been 2 hours. It's been 2 hours and I need to stop, so I'm gonna stop. If you've listened, cool! If you haven't, cool! I don't really give a shit. I needed to get it out. And whether you listened or not, at least you listened to the first part that said, yes, I know that my DA has been indefinitely banned. Okay? So, what the fuck ever. Just sit down, sit back, eat some member berries, and remember when all the things were good. Remember when all your favorite things were good. Remember the good times. Alright? And just kick life in the fucking balls before you die, please. I need to draw life and death as characters. And draw me kicking life in the balls and holding death's hand to freedom. That is not morbid. Only people who are afraid of death think that's morbid. Death is not a bad thing. I don't understand why so many people are afraid of it. Anyway, make sure to subscribe and spread the word of awesome. Become a Reitannite, because I'm apparently so important that you need to fucking stand up for me. Oh my god. Leave a like on this video. Oh my god. Stop treating me like I'm some kind of fantastical being.